Have you ever felt like something is off, but you just can't explain it? Like the world around you is moving normally. People are laughing, scrolling, living their lives, but beneath all of that, something invisible is quietly shaping everything. Not with explosions, not with weapons you can see, but with something far more dangerous, something you can't even touch. Because the truth is, the most powerful weapon in today's world isn't a missile, a drone, or even a nuclear bomb. It's something you use every single day. Something you trust without thinking. And the scariest part? You don't even realize when it's being used against you. This is the story of the secret invisible weapon no one is talking about. And once you understand it, you might never see the world the same way again. Because what if I told you the biggest battles today aren't being fought on the battlefield? They're being fought inside your mind. And it all started long before any of us noticed. Years ago, power meant something very different. Countries built massive armies, spent billions on weapons, and prepared for wars that could destroy entire cities in seconds. Strength was visible. You could measure it, count it, fear it. But over time, something changed. Slowly, quietly, the battlefield began to shift. Instead of fighting to destroy cities, powerful forces began focusing on something much deeper. Control. Not control of land, but control of people. Because someone realized something terrifyingly simple. If you can control what people think, you don't need to control anything else. At first, it was subtle. Governments used media to shape opinions. News channels pushed certain narratives. Movies and entertainment started influencing how people saw the world, what they believed, and even what they feared. But back then, it was still limited. People could switch channels. They could ignore it. They still had a choice. But then, everything changed. The internet arrived, and with it came a new kind of power, something faster, smarter, and far more dangerous than anything before. At first, it felt like freedom. Social media connected people across the world. Information became available instantly. Anyone could share their voice. It felt like control was finally in the hands of the people. But here's the twist. That freedom was also the perfect cover. Because while billions of people were enjoying this new digital world, something else was being built behind the scenes, invisible. Something designed not to serve people, but to study them. Every click you made, every video you watched, every post you liked, every second you spent scrolling, all of it was being tracked, analyzed, learned from, not just to understand what you like, but to understand who you are. Your fears, your desires, your habits, your weaknesses. And once that information was collected, it unlocked something powerful, the ability to influence you without you even realizing it. Think about it. Have you ever opened your phone just to check one thing and suddenly an hour is gone? Have you ever felt angry or emotional after seeing certain posts even though you weren't before? Have you ever noticed how the content you see slowly starts shaping what you believe? That's not random. That's not coincidence. That's the weapon. Because what nobody expected was this system didn't need to force people to do anything. It simply guided them. Step by step, post by post, emotion by emotion, until people started thinking they were making their own choices, when in reality, those choices were being influenced all along. And the scariest part, it works perfectly because you trust it. You trust what you see on your screen. You trust the content that feels familiar. You trust the voices that agree with you. But what if those voices were carefully chosen just for you? This invisible weapon isn't loud. It doesn't explode. It doesn't destroy buildings. It rewires thoughts. It shapes opinions. It creates division without anyone noticing. And once it takes hold, it spreads faster than any virus ever could. There have been moments in recent years where entire populations suddenly became divided overnight. Friends turned against each other. Families stopped speaking. People became more angry, more emotional, more reactive. And everyone thought the same thing. They're the problem. But what if that reaction itself was part of the design? Because when people are divided, they're easier to control.
When people are emotional, they stop thinking clearly. When people are constantly distracted, they never question what's really happening. And that's exactly how this weapon works. It doesn't attack your body. It attacks your attention, your focus, your ability to think independently. And once that's gone, everything else becomes easy. Careers can be influenced, elections can be swayed, trends can be created overnight, entire movements can rise or disappear with just a few adjustments behind the scenes. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. This weapon isn't controlled by just one group. Different powers use it in different ways. Companies use it to keep you hooked, to keep you scrolling, to keep you consuming. Governments use it to shape narratives, to influence public opinion, to maintain control. And sometimes it's used in ways no one fully understands yet. Because the system is learning, evolving, becoming smarter every single day. It studies human behavior at a level we've never seen before. It knows what makes you stop scrolling, what makes you click, what makes you feel something. And once it knows that, it uses it. Not in a way you can see, but in a way you can feel. A slight pull, a sudden emotion, a thought that feels like your own but might not be. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because you don't fight it, you don't resist it, you don't even notice it. You become part of it, and over time it starts to change you.
Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. People who once thought deeply now react instantly. People who once questioned things now accept them without thinking. People who once connected with each other now argue, divide, and isolate themselves. All while believing they're acting on their own free will. But are they? Or are they being guided, one invisible push at a time? The emotional impact of this is something we're only beginning to understand. Because this isn't just about control. It's about identity. When your thoughts are influenced, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your life changes. Relationships break. Trust disappears. Mental health declines. People feel more anxious, more lost, more overwhelmed. And they don't even know why. Because the cause isn't visible. There's no enemy you can point to. No clear attack you can defend against. Just a constant feeling that something isn't right. And that's what makes it so dangerous. It doesn't destroy instantly. It erodes slowly. Until one day, everything feels different. And you can't even remember when it started. But maybe the most chilling part of this entire story is this. You're not just a target. You're also part of the system. Every time you share something, every time you react, every time you engage with content, you help the system learn. You help it grow stronger. You help it become more precise, more effective, more invisible. And without realizing it, you help it influence others too. It's a cycle, a loop that feeds itself. And breaking out of it isn't as easy as it sounds. Because this weapon doesn't lock you in chains. It gives you comfort, entertainment, endless distraction. It makes you want to stay. And that's why so many people never question it. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. When was the last time you truly had a thought that wasn't influenced by something you saw online? When was the last time you sat in silence, without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you questioned the information in front of you, instead of accepting it? Because the moment you start asking these questions, that's when the illusion begins to break. That's when you start to see the system for what it really is. Not just a tool, not just a platform, but a weapon, an invisible one. And like any weapon, its power depends on how it's used. The truth is, this isn't a story with a clear ending. Because this is still happening. Right now. Every second, every scroll, every click. But there's one thing that changes everything. Awareness. Because the moment you realize what's happening, the moment you start paying attention,
The moment you take control of your own thoughts again, that's when the weapon starts to lose its power over you. Not completely, but enough to make a difference. Enough to think for yourself. Enough to see beyond what's being shown to you. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the real battle begins. Not out there, but inside your own mind. So the next time you pick up your phone, the next time you scroll through endless content, ask yourself one simple question. Am I choosing this? Or is this choosing me? Because the answer to that question might reveal more than you're ready to see.